Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Welcome to another edition of the Community Showcase here on ITV. This evening we're profiling the Sultan Bahu Center, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ahmad Akub and Fatima Saib from the organization to speak to us about this organization. And inshallah, a bit later on this evening, we'll be speaking to other guests from the organization, and we'll be discussing some of the current projects of the Sultan Bahu Center. But at the beginning, I'm delighted to welcome Fatima and Ahmad. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you very much.
Brother Ahmad, we know the Sultan Bahu Center. Many people know of the Sultan Bahu Center, but every organization has a history. And I think for the benefit of our viewers, give us a bit of a history of this organization.
The organization had very humble origins in a place called Overton, founded by our founder, Sheikh Said Ali Chabdat, who viewers will meet later tonight. Underpinning the Sultan Bahu Center is the Sarwar Qadri Silsila, where groups of people would come under the leadership of Sheikh Said Ali Chabdat to learn about our faith, to explore more the inner dimensions, in both the inner and outer dimensions of Islam, where the belief is that in order to go out into the world to serve, you first have to reflect on your own motives and your own reasons for wanting to do that. And character development is what happened there. And once you've developed character, you can then literally qualify to go out into the world to serve. And that's what's been happening. And Sultan Bahu is now almost close to 30 years old. And it has grown from what was then a simple feeding scheme, a little madrasa here and there in El Dorado Park, Annadale, to an NGO with the national footprint at the moment. Yes, alhamdulillah.
Fatima, if you can tell us, you've been there for a few years now. How do you feel as an employee or somebody who works at an organization with such an important footprint and such an important role that they play in society? As I mentioned a few times, everybody knows Sultan Bahu, but the behind the scenes, what goes on, and to see the empowerment that takes place at the Sultan Bahu Center.
As Brother Ahmed has mentioned, it's all based on the teachings of our Sheikh. And with that, we learn how to serve unselfishly, to serve the community in whatever need that we find ourselves in. The ethos of the center is based on love and kindness, generosity, which is the teachings of our Sheikh. And we try and incorporate this in the different projects that we have started, from the cataracts to the dialysis to our feeding schemes to the drug rehabilitation. So be it saving a child from abandonment or neglect, or saving that life of a substance abuser, which we all know very well that has a ripple effect of about 20 people in their family. What is special also is that with the center, we're not confined to a certain project. Whatever we find at that moment, the plight of society and the community, we tap into that, and that is how we take those teachings and we try and make it fruitful in the types of people that we help in healing many as hearts as possible.
I think that's very important, that you look at the needs of society and then make a decision of what you'd like to, which projects you'd like to undertake on based on the teachings, as you mentioned earlier on. But I think that's a very important part, looking at the needs of society. And if you can mention what, like some of the current projects that Sultan Bahu is looking at the moment.
At the moment, it started with the pilot project, the masjid of course, and more than that was the children's home. Since then, we've realized that with that comes a whole lot of additional issues that people bring forward. And the drug rehabilitation, We now 15 years in existence in the Cape Town Western Province, and now a year now in Johannesburg. So with that, we even hope to open up and roll out in all the different in the provinces, so that we can address the need and the plight that the community faces at large, wherever that may be. We currently have a dialysis project, a cataract project, feeding schemes, madrasas, masjids, winter warm projects, and hopefully, inshallah, we on the verge of opening up a new dialysis facility that people will be able to come to, affordable treatment, and a lot of them have been turned away from government, for example.
Brother Amr, if you can tell us more about the projects, okay, the management of these projects, because it's not a small project where you basically going to a place and having one or two people. It's a huge organization. It's national. I mean, you're sitting in, you've got offices in Cape Town, you've got the drug rehab in Cape Town, in Johannesburg, you've got the orphanage here that I know of in Johannesburg. How do you manage these projects optimally?
Okay, I'd just like to also touch on what Farima said, is that yes, one of our signatures is that we are able to respond very quickly once a need is identified and we see it as a need in the community. What I like about Sultan Bahu Center is that we respond quickly, and there's within a week we could set up a project. That's how quickly we can respond to the community. The projects we do are big. The dialysis project is probably one of the biggest projects that we're undertaking, followed by the cataract project. Big in the sense that financially intensive, in that it's pretty expensive to run, in the sense that it costs the cost of dialysis. But we're able to do it because of absolute commitment by both staff and volunteers who come to the center, that commitment is what makes it possible. Without commitment, you'd not be able to effect these programs. So the dialysis, for instance, we have a national footprint. We're able to assist patients countrywide through our very strategic relationship with service providers. Okay, and particularly with the dialysis, we are operating in a very, very critical space at this moment in time, with service delivery in public hospitals almost non-existent, in the sense that patients are being turned away for dialysis. In fact, this morning I got a call from a patient who's been turned away from hospital, and because it's such an expensive project, you would require something like 12 or maybe 15,000 rand per month to that. And the patient was so desperate. She said, "Please, if you can't help me, take my child, because I'm not going to survive the next month. If you're not able to help me, take my child." So when you get a call like that, where the person says, "Help me or take my child," what do you do? You know, understand what I'm saying? So we are so fortunate that with the help of our donors countrywide, who make this project like this possible, that we're able to say to this patient, "Yes, we can help you." You know, and if we didn't have the funds, it would be because saying yes to that patient means saying yes to funding to the value of close to 200,000 rand just to keep her alive for the year. So how do we say to that patient, "No, we can't help you with dialysis. No, we can't take your child." So alhamdulillah, we're able to do both. We're able to care for her child and for her health as well. So this is just an example of something that happened this morning, in fact, that I just thought I'd narrate it to you as
There's not many moments where I'm really speechless, but I think that it knocked me.
Yes.
For a mother or anybody to phone to say, "You take my child," because, and then that just makes people out there, our donors out there, need to appreciate the type of work your organization is doing, because dialysis, we know, kidney failure and kidney disease is a major issue amongst South Africans, and we do know the problems there are in government hospitals. We've heard about the NHI, we've heard about medical aid, we've heard about all that, but it's not happening now. So that's why it's important for organizations like Sultan Bahu, who do it for the benefit of the community. Fatima, from your side, before we go to a break, anything that stands out for you as a member of the team there, something that you'd like to encourage our viewers from some of your experiences at the center?
You know, I must say that throughout the years that I've been there, and what Brother Ahmed has said is really true, in that as a member of the community at large, anybody that's part of this, whoever donates and is part of this, they're part of that sharing and caring and kindness and love that the Sultan Bahu Center is an example of. I'm an employee there, but at the same time, my heart, you can't do it if your heart is not there. Sheikh's teachings teaches us that irrespective of color, religion, creed, that's who we serve. And the Sultan Bahu Center is not confined to any specific race or religion. We help all that come to our door. So I can rest assured that the donors out there tonight, their monies and their funds will be utilized to the best of our capabilities.
Inshallah. We're going to take a short break now. When we come back, we're going to discuss some of the projects more in depth and see where all the donors' money will be going. But as we heard, the story that we heard just a few minutes ago, where a mother says, "You can take my child," keep that at the back of your mind, and remember to open your hearts and your wallets this evening when the pledge line for the Sultan Bahu Center is on. Stay tuned, we're taking a short break now.